Photographers, are you ready to level up your portrait editing workflow? Whether you're just starting out or looking to streamline your process, this video might just be for you. Today, I'm going to walk you through my step-by-step editing workflow, to transferring files from my SD card to Culling, to editing in Photoshop and Lightroom, and even more. So let's dive in. Hi, I'm Julie Powell and welcome back to the channel where we cover all things photographic. So today's video, like I said, I'm going to jump in and show you my editing workflow. So where do we start? Obviously, the first place to start is connecting your SD card. Now, I use a card reader such as this one here, but it really doesn't matter what you're using to transfer your files. However, if you are transferring them directly from your camera onto your computer, make sure that your battery is fully charged, because if it dies halfway through, you can get corrupted or you can lose files, and that's no fun for everybody. So my first thing is to take my SD card out and put it in a card reader. That way I know that the images are going to be safe. So once you've transferred your files, what do you do with them? So I create a dedicated folder structure on my computer to keep everything organized. So for example, I might have a folder that's just for portraits or studio shoots or client work, whatever. I will put the year on it. I will put the month and the date on it, and then I will put, say, the client name or a brief description of the file. Let me show you. This is my folder structure. So these are just my studio shoots, and I've got them set up via the year, and if I click in here, then I will have the date and I will have the name of the shoot. But you could use it for just about anything. You could have holidays. Again, you can set it up by the year. You can set it up by the name of the trip. It doesn't matter what file system you use, but if you have it set up so that you can easily check or come in and see what's what, then it's cohesive and you'll never lose anything again. It's really easy to keep everything set up. Now, your next step is folder storage and backup. So we've already discussed what folder structure to use, but you do need to back up your files, and using a combination of tools for safety is a really good idea. You could use an external drive, you could use cloud storage like Google Drive or whatever. There's also a NAS system or a RAID system. These systems create automatic redundancy, so your precious work is always protected even if a drive fails. There's a lot of articles out there on using cloud storage or NAS or RAID. I'm not going to get into that part of it here, but you need to have some sort of storage and backup for all of your photos. Trust me. If something goes down, like you lose your Lightroom catalog or whatever, having a backup is a really, really good idea. So the next one is culling and sorting. I use a program called Aftershoot. Aftershoot seriously just makes it quick and painless. So this is Aftershoot. I have each of my different folders imported as a new album. I then come through and I can double click on it and I can use Aftershoot. Look, culling can be such a chore, but using products like Aftershoot, the AI in it analyzes your shots for sharpness and composition, and you can focus on selecting the best images for each of your album, and it'll come up. You can change any of your selections. So you've got selected images, it will give you highlights. You can choose to keep the images that it suggests for you. You can do a recull. You can do it manually if you wish to. So this image here, for instance, if I want to change that from a highlight to a selected image, I just change the number. So I've gone to 5 stars and then I've got save changes. and it only takes a few minutes, and you can run multiple folders at once. So if you've had a few shoots that you need to import, you can do one, go back, do another one, and have multiple ones going at the same time. Once you have chosen your selected images in your folder, you can export. Now what I do is I export to a folder, and I have selected images in a folder which I can then go into Lightroom, and I'll show you that next. So once I've used Aftershoot to cull my images, it's then time to bring them into Lightroom. So I will open my Lightroom catalog, I will come in and I will import photos. I will then go to where I have saved my selected images. So I have my own little sort of setup that I use, and I'm going to go through and I'm going to find the images that I want to import. So for instance, I might want to import this folder here. I will go to my selected folder, and then all the images are there. Now these are all grayed out because I've already imported them, but I just wanted to show you sort of how it's set up. I haven't got any images to bring in at the moment, but I would select all of these images. I would copy as a DNG. I would tell it where I wanted to store it. So for instance, I've got my D drive, Lightroom, personal photos, studio shoots, and I would put it there. Now, I don't want to use any particular presets to my import apart from the date. I will let Lightroom choose the folder that it will put it in with inside Studio Shoots. So for instance, anything that I imported now, it would go into 2025 and it would put it under the date, and then I would just hit import. Now, how is that important? When I actually go over to my Lightroom, I've got my folder set up there, and I've got the date, and I've got a brief name. So Cherry Farm with Nicola, or Film Noir with Sky, whatever. So Lightroom puts my images in here with just the date. I then right click and I rename the folder to what makes sense to me. So I'm hoping that makes sense. I don't want to belabor the whole import process. I just wanted to show you briefly what I did. From there, I will come in and I will edit my images. Now, I've put up lots and lots of videos on how to edit in Lightroom, whether it's for color, black and white, film noir, portrait, still life, etc. So go check out some of those. If you go into the Lightroom or the Photoshop, you will see how I edit the images for any of those. The next thing is exporting your images for social media or for anything else. So I'm just going to go in and select an image, and I'm going to export that one. So I'm going to hit File, go to Export, and it'll bring this up. Now, I do have a couple of presets that I can use. So one is social media. So I will select where I want the photo to be stored. So if you just leave that blank and hit go, it could end up putting the photos anywhere, usually in my pictures, but depending on your file structure and what computer you're on, it could end up anywhere. So you're better off selecting where you want it to put it. You can ask it to put it in a subfolder, that's fine. You can give it a name, you don't have to, it's completely up to you. Then there is a size that you want to do. So for create, for instance, social media with logo, it will export it at 672 pixels. I can't really alter that because I've already got it set up. It also puts my watermark on it. I don't necessarily always want that. Maybe I want to have it as a print copy. You don't even have to use these presets. You can come in and you can do whatever you want. So come in, name it, put whatever you want on it. If you are exporting it for social media, I do suggest you save it at roughly, say, 248 and 96 pixels, keeping my quality at 70% and putting my long edge on 2048 pixels and 96 pixels per inch. The images are coming out pretty good in social media. That's what I do. You could do it at 1672 pixels per inch. That's fine too. It's up to you which way you want to go. If you want to export these as high resolution, whether it's TIFF or PNGs or whatever for printing, do not compress them. Keep them at a particular size and keep them at 300 pixels per inch for your best quality images for exporting. Finally, once your images have been exported in high resolution JPEGs, for instance, and you want to deliver them to friends, family, or clients, then you want to have a look at using a platform such as PixieSet, or of course you can use WeTransfer or Dropbox or whatever. I like using PixieSet myself because it gives me a beautiful, beautiful looking gallery to hand out, whether it's to my clients or just to the models that I work with. So this is my dashboard. As you can see, I've got my client galleries. I've also got a website. I do run a little portrait photography website off this page, which I don't really alter. You can access it from my normal website. It's literally for my portrait clients. The rest of the time I use my workshop for education and things like that. So if I jump into my client galleries, I can manage my collections, and I've got lots of different collections here that I have got, and I can preview a collection and they just look beautiful. So this was for Emily and Jade. I photographed some of their wedding images and I went back in about a month later and did another shoot with both of them. That was so cute. So this is what the gallery looks like. They can like them, they can download them, and I can share individual photos, things like that. So that is what I use. Individually, if I'm just setting photos up, obviously I'm just going to use Dropbox or WeTransfer or something like that. And that's it. So a streamlined workflow to take your portraits or whatever photos that you have from your SD card to edited photos. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more tips, and don't forget to share your favorite editing tools or perhaps your workflow in the comments below. Happy editing. Bye.